troubleshoot, but I don't want to change too much because he's still pretty young. So again, we've got the longer stick, which he's used to, the taller pylons, which he's used to, except we're now working in the opposite end of the arena, and his mom has the option to lead. So normally we have the mare tied in the corner, but we want to get them to start to be used to being worked away from the mare, so his mom has the option to leave out the other side of the arena. So we're going to see how he responds to that. So I'm going to send him out on the circle once he's done trying to eat the halter here. See how he does with everything. So again, he still has the same expectations. He needs to maintain gait. He needs to maintain direction. Look where he's going. As long as he's doing those three things, I can kind of stay in a nice neutral here. So I'm just going to turn in the middle of my pylon square here and ask him to walk around the outside edge. If I feel like see here, he wants to come in a little bit, so I'm just going to say out. Drive that shoulder a little bit, get him out further. Help him find that sweet spot. If he gets stuck, I'm going to open that door, clap to him, ask him to walk on. If he starts to crowd, I'm just going to put up a little bit of a visual there. It's like that rumble strip on the highway, so that you don't go over the line. So I'm just going to use my stick bit as that rumble strip. Just to remind him where to be. There, I'm going to put that rumble strip up a little bit, help him out. And again, he's most likely to cut in when he's up here and drift out when he's down here. Down here, he's pulling, his magnet is pulling him towards his mom, who's behind the camera. And then here, he's the furthest point away from his mom, so he's going to pull this way. So the magnet's always pulling them in one direction. So you'll quickly realize what it is if your circle starts getting shifted. So ideally, I want him to stay the same distance between all these pylons to know that he's maintaining that proper circle. To see how he wants to come in here. He has a little bit of a harder time staying out where I want him to because his magnet is pulling him towards the other end. Here he walks through beautifully because the magnet's pulling him down there. So I just need to help even him out a little bit so that he can stay consistent on that circle and not have a draw to anything, ideally, but me. So horses, you know, they get ring sour or buddy sour or gate sour, all those things, because they've got a strong magnet pull towards whatever it is they want. So I need to help them get a strong magnet pull towards me. They want to be with me, being comfortable being with me. So he's walking around pretty good here now. So I'm going to ask him for a whoa, but I'm not going to do it down here because that's where he wants to be. Instead, I'm going to ask for him way up here. Walk up, give him some scratches for that so that he knows that that's the right answer. Yeah. Let him know that's all that I'm looking for. And again, I'll rest him up here so that this will hopefully start to be more of a draw to him. Because he's not going to get rested down there, he's only going to work down there. But up here, this is where you're going to get those rests. So you do the same thing with a horse that's, pulling you from something away, in the ring. They don't want to go in a certain corner, that's the only spot you're going to rest them, is up in that corner. So that they learn that, this corner is a good place to be, rather than a place to avoid. I'm going to go back to the center of my box, send them out. I'm going to set them up for a good change in direction, so I'm going to back up, switch my hands. Nice, see if you can follow that feel through. You did really good there. Now we're going to have to establish that boundary going this way again. So again, he's probably going to drift in up here, and he's going to drift out down there. So down here, I don't really need to hold my stick up because I don't need to encourage him to go out any. But up here, I'm going to hold that stick up and give him that visual. Don't come any closer, you're going to run over that rumble strip. And then I'm going to relax him through here because he doesn't really need it. He stays pretty consistent. Get up through here this time, but see if he wants to change direction. I can remind him, nope, that's not what we're doing. We need to maintain direction, which is go to the right until I say otherwise. So again, I'm going to keep it relaxed through here because he doesn't need any extra pressure. He drifts a bit, but it's nice because he doesn't pull his nose. So a lot of horses, when they have that magnet, can get a nice bow up in that other end. Ooh, boy. Give him some rubs. Again, so that he knows that that was the right thing to do. Being nice, he's soft, he's listening to me. Do some changes of direction to finish it up with him. So far, he's handling all the new changes really well. He's kind of been like that from day one. He's not fazed by a lot. Some horses get really bothered by change, so you have to be really careful how much you change because they come undone. Where he's a horse that he's not really fazed by it. He doesn't really notice the changes a whole lot, which is good. Bodes well for his career as a show horse because there's going to be lots of changes by going to different arenas, different barns. Now I'm just going to kind of go into some nice changes, some direction with them. So again, see if you can follow that feel. I like that I didn't have to use my stick at all. We kept the slack in the line the whole time. Get him around, change. So there he's a little tight, see how he kind of bobbed his head? So I'm just going to drive that shoulder over a little bit more. Remind him that it's his job to follow that feel. Shouldn't have to remind him all the time because he knows what the expectation is now. So when I kind of fail in that expectation a little bit, I'll just add a little bit more pressure to help motivate them. Give the right answer. So again, so there you gave that little head toss, buddy. Just like take the slack out of the line. That was good. He wants to stop. Just add a little bit of pressure behind. See if you can follow this feel. Through. Boy. Feet soft though. Just follow that feel. So he got a little distracted. He was kind of looking to the outside where his mom was. So he was a little delayed in his response. But he still did it. Walk it around. Oh, that was really nice. I hadn't even really finished switching my hands. He was able to do a nice change. There he just had a reaction to some environmental pressure. The building creaked. So he just kind of jogged forward a little bit. But it was nice because he respected my space and he didn't come through me. He was still aware. Move my feet even less that time. So that's the end goal, is eventually I'm just going to kind of rock my feet back and he's going to do that change. So I'm going to have to move here because I'm just too close to this pylon, so I'm going to take a couple more steps. But then once I get him through, I'm going to see if I can keep my feet still. Rather than walking him through it, I'm going to see if he can start to send through on his own. So I'm just going to back up a little bit so I'm out of the way and then send him through. Good boy. And same thing. Back up a little bit, send through. Again, that goal is to get so that you get to the point where you're moving your feet less and less. You need to back up and get out of the way. But when I send them through, I want them to be able to get through there without me having to guide them all the way up through. Good boy. Again, follow that feel. I like that. He's coming before I even have a chance to fully switch my hands. So he knows that that's the cue to change direction. He's paying enough attention to me. And he's good and focused. So I really like that. So again, I'm going to ask him for a whoa up to this end, because this is where I want to start to build a bit of a stronger magnet too. It's up here rather than down there. Give him lots of rubs and scratches for being a good boy. And that's all we'll do with him for today. So he responded really good. He wasn't worried. His mom isn't even in sight right now. She's walked off and left him, and